Okay, how's the sound? If anyone's here, I can see two people here. Can also test how the chat will work with the restream. Okay. Next time I need to install my camera, if I found it. Okay, our numbers are growing slowly, I see. So hello everybody. We'll wait a few minutes to see if someone else will show up. As you can see, we have a fancy main menu. It's not very fancy, but it's there. It's working. Okay, you know what? I'll just start recording, so if someone else will pop up later, he will have to wait for the devlog. I'll chop this stream into pieces and then upload this as a devlog, probably multiple ones actually. Alright, so we can start a new campaign. We have a few options here. You can play with Iron Man mode. This is like in any other game of this kind. Basically, it's like an autosave all the time. You cannot do manual saves, but we're not gonna do this right now. Maybe we'll like to go back to a place. We'll see. Quick start. This is definitely something that I will use. This is only for testing. You won't see this in a finished game. This is something for us. We basically start with every item, every weapon from the very beginning. Now we have a loading screen with tips. This is something that I always wanted. So I quickly added this. And the tip says, killed enemies that are not a part of the mission's objective will strengthen the darkness. Try avoiding them, knocking them down, or put them to sleep. So basically, if you kill enemies that are not a part of the mission, if you just need to activate something or bring something to the exit, you will make the game harder for you. Okay, so you know, new stuff. What we did lately, right? This is the whole sense of this stream. UI. You know, we try to put everything into order, create like one cohesive UI blocks. So this is like the classic pop-up. This is actually an event. An event because something that that happens, but it's not a conversation. Maybe there will be something more to this, we'll see, but this is like a description of a place that we just arrived. The crown. The crown is this region. And now we have a conversation. I don't know if you noticed, but you know, the text right now is showing like letter by letter. We also designed this box. We have these little diamonds here. I like, you know, these tiny details like that. And bam, we have something like that. I know it's nothing much, but I really like how it turns out. So if a person makes like a very strong emotion, or there is something very important that they want to show, we'll be using something like that. I think we showed you the conversation before, but yeah, you can ask different questions. Some of them will take you back to a like a node in the conversation that changes into different branches. We have different, not emotions, but like, you know, different versions of the same character, so there is something more going on, and Yuki is here for the testing as he is our main character. And with a click you can just show the whole of the text. You don't have to wait, you know, every time for everything to show up. So that's it. I think we had parallax for a couple of months, so that's probably nothing new for you. But we changed these buttons as well. We have these three main buttons that can take us to equipment, and park will take us to the map, and camp will set up the camp in the region. Maybe let's show you the map. There is still some work to be done here, definitely, but I think it looks decent now. We changed the very old sprite that we had since the times of our first Kickstarter, and that's how it looks like right now. In the end, I want this to be bigger, because, you know, I have a bigger map, you know, it's just a portion of this, and I want to add an option to zoom in and zoom out, move around the map. Some small details like names of these pieces of lands, you know, like you have on maps. Maybe this could be like the plains, I don't know, portrait grooves, whatever, however we call it. Okay, so we were supposed to go here. These things. These little things, there can be multiple of them. They can show if in this region something can happen. This icon shows that in this region we have a conversation waiting for us. This really helps in the long run. This is just a confirmation pop-up if you want to really go there, and a nice animation with the illustration from Alex. Another pop-up with an event, blah blah blah, that there is a tavern. I won't focus, you know, on everything. We'll do a playthrough next month, you know, when we have more ready, especially in the story. This story is just a placeholder, so we won't focus on that very much. And bam, we are in a different region. So right now, if you go to the map, you can see that we just unlocked an event. This is an icon for event, this is an icon for a conversation, so that's how it works. So next up, equipment. For whatever reason it loads for the first time very long, but we'll take a look into that, what's happening really. Alright. So if you're following us, you can see that there's a big change here. So on the left, we have the statistics, the name of the hunter, how much HP he has, health points, right? And then different stats and tooltips, which are very helpful. So we have level of the hunter. We have his maximal health. This actually should be vitality as a stat. I need to talk with my programmers to change that. Stamina, how many stamina points the character has, movement range, vision range, equipment, so how many items he can carry with himself, and smell range that still needs an icon, and something new, resistances, right? We added 8, I think 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 4, yes, 8. 8 damage types, and every character, including monsters, have different resistances to the damage types, and different weapons will deal different damage. So we have slash, blunt, pierce, and shot, which are pretty standard, nothing fancy here. But we also have spirit, curse, chemical, and light. These are more specialized and rare, basically. This is just an idling hunter, right? We can change his skin color. No, skin in terms of the whole hunter. We'll have different skins for the hunter, different designs for you to switch. Here we'll be having the avatar, the portrait of the hunter, probably in the next build. Here is a list of all the available hunters. So nothing very fancy here, nothing new, just a different presentation. Here is something new. So far, every hunter only was carrying one weapon. Right now, we changed this to 2 weapons, a large weapon and a small weapon. Okay, Griffin from Twitch says that we need more color customization. Yeah, it's actually pretty easy to do this. We just didn't have time to sit to this, but Alex want to sit down and add more. Right now we have 6, I think. It's not enough, I know. But there are more important stuff at the moment. Okay, so these weapons. On the large slot, we can equip large and small weapons, and on the small slot, we can equip only small weapons. Why we did that? There was a problem with balance when every hunter was carrying only one weapon, and there was not much versatility, in terms of what these guys can do. So right now we can just switch them. We can do a more versatile character thanks to that. And here you can see these damages that we're talking about. And for example, let's take this crude blade. Some weapons will have already multiple damage types. So this weapon deals slash and pierce damage at the same time, while this have slash and spirit. We'll be adding tooltips here as well, so when you highlight an icon or something, it will show you what damage type it is. And if you click on it again, this will be a more detailed information about a specific weapon. So if you want to read about the lore, this stuff will be here. Probably a more detailed image here as well. We'll see. We'll see if we manage that. Okay, so we'll equip some smaller blades for this guy, so they can do something else. Especially this guy, he needs something new because he has a ranged weapon. So like a backup blade would be nice, right? Items. We have some new items. So let's see, something cool. Grenades are pretty nice. AoE damage with a good, pretty decent at least. FX. Okay, this guy has 2 grenades. He doesn't need 2 grenades. Let's give him the spike trap and the lure. This guy has a med kit. So let's give him throwing knives and maybe ether. This guy has a lure and an explosive trap. So let's give him bleeding knives. Alright, so that's it. here. Then we have the camp. So you can see we just completely redesigned it. We don't have like a lot of UI elements that are just tables with tags and numbers. We went in more immersive, immersive way, with more illustration. Oh yeah, flickering shadows. Yeah, that would be cool, but we'll see. We'll see. This is UI. This is not just objects. I don't know if you work with Unity, but we'll see. Well, I don't want to say that no, but maybe on this part is very important for us, and we are working. I was working on this today. There are some new stuff added. This like here we have parallax. Right now we also have a parallax here. Not in this build. It's still in the works. So I'll show you this next time we'll meet here. Okay, but there are some new stuff here that I don't know if we showed so far. So camping tasks. Here we have our hunters, 4 of them at the moment, and they can take different roles in the camp. They can rest to restore their HP. They can work on crafting to speed up the process of producing items, and to produce items you need to have at least one of these guys on the crafting job. They can go out in the region that we are currently for scavenging, and they can bring food for the camp, or they can guard the camp. And here is like camping result preview. What would happen with these options when you wait a day in the camp? So you can potentially scavenge 2 to 5 food, but there's a 20% chance of an accident. And an accident happens, a hunter will suffer this much damage. If you put more guys on the lookout, this percentage drops. Crafting, how many crafting points you have. The more guys craft, the more crafting points you have, and the items will be produced quicker. Resting, how much health your hunters will restore, and the camping costs. The more hunters you have in your roster, the more food they will consume, and the more stuff you do without anyone guarding the camp, the chance for the ambush increases. So with all of these guys, we still have an 80% chance of the ambush. This will change depending on the region. There will be safer, there will be more dangerous regions to be. And if you are set with these jobs, you can wait a day by clicking this, but we can go to crafting. It's not visually finished, but we can see how this works, right? If we want to craft something new, we just need to pick this from the list. There are weapons, there are charms. Oh, I didn't talk about the charms. We can go back to that later. But charms are basically items that change your resistances and sometimes stats. That's how they work. They are like armors, but we didn't like the idea of an armor for a hunter, so we used charms. Okay, so I want to craft a medkit, for example. This will cost... I have some kind of a bug. 10 crafting points, which we'll talk about later. This will cost 5 silver and 2 food. This will not immediately create 2 medkits. They just added them to the crafting tree. Each of them costs 10 crafting points. Right now we have 10 crafting points, so if you wait a day, we've only made 1, right? So that's how crafting works in the game. We've managed to scavenge 2 food, but you also consume 3 food while camping. So we need to keep track of your food. Later we'll add shops where you can basically just buy supplies, and we'll increase the number of different resources, from which you will craft, and different regions will have different resources. And the very last thing here. It needs a new visuals, but it works. So here you have your hunters in your hunting party. So these are the hunters that you have with yourself, but you may like to recruit new ones. So when you click on the button, you have a new list of new hunters. And as you can see, the equipment is customized. So when you'll be playing this, as a finished product, and you won't have, for example, this axe, or don't have access to a blueprint, you cannot buy this or anything like that. You may get this by recruiting different hunters. So I say, okay, this guy has a very good sword, so let's get this guy, right, for 100 silver. But if none of these guys look like a potential recruit for your hunting group, you can spend food to get new roster, which is poor as hell. But okay, whatever. And if you, I don't know, for whatever reason, you don't want your guys here at the hunting party, you can send them back to the base at the crown, and you can summon them back if you want. And later on there will be a different progression system when this may be even more useful than now. Right now it's used mainly for the purpose of not spending all of the food with other hunters. Yeah, girlfriend, probably there's a lot of potential there, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so there's another conversation which will open a mission for us, and we can show you what we did on the tactical layer. So this icon shows that there's a mission. You can skip this by clicking on your left mouse button. Okay, so this is like a mission briefing pop-up, that's how we call this. And here is just, what's this mission, where it is, what is the main objective. We can add here a description, a briefing. It will probably be more elaborated as we go forward with the production. Here are the rewards. 500 experience points. We don't have a tooltip for that yet. If you want to quickly change a hunter, you can click here or click here to change their equipment, but I showed you that already. But maybe, let's show you the charms, right? So there are different ones here. And this guy, he's a heavy hitter, so we can give him a symbol of the knight. This will increase his health, stamina, that will decrease his movement, and increases his smell. And you can see, the stuff that adds to your hunter are green, the stuff that are worse that it was before are on red, and it also shows you where the bonus comes from. And this guy could use, I think this, the wild charm increases movement, yes, but decreases the stamina and the health. And stamina, but he won't be running around. He has a ranged weapon. This guy has something different. This guy is a heavy hitter. And Alex did this. And they are great, like the black tongue. You have this tongue that spears with needles. I really like this. Okay, so let's change them. You can see, some of these can only work on the resistances, some of them work only on the stats. This one increases the resistance against the most common damage types, but the stuff like that are more magic are weakened here. Okay, so let's start this mission. Yeah, so we have this like cinematic intro. Alright, so basically we changed a lot of things here. I don't know where to start, to be honest. So maybe this pathfinding line. First of all, it uses brazier curves, so it's nice, and it also have a different line for the line renderer. So I think it looks way better. We have a new hex selection cursor, so you can see, it doesn't hide underneath a hand or anything like that. We used to have a problem with that. And as you can see, there's no hexes, right? Basically, they are hexes, but we just went with these dots because it's just more elegant. It doesn't take as much of the screen as it used to with the hexes, and I just like it more. Mm, so that's this new character canvases. These ones are the action points. This is a slider with HP, and here we have stamina points. Mm, what else? What else? This panel, right, where you have the skills. Also redesigned. These three abilities, the dots I think will always be visible, Refan, and the hexes. No, I don't think we'll go back to the hexes, and I'll explain this why later. Because we have some problems with hexes, they're still there. There are still directions, in the hexes, but we just won't be showing them anymore. I don't think. I don't think so. Mm, okay, where I was here. So these three abilities are shared between every hunter. Every hunter has access to pebbles, to a whistle, and to a rest ability. They may have different stuff here, and this always stays the same. So this is the hunter skill, and these are like his equipment-based skill. Here we have equipped weapons, so this guy only has one, this guy has two, and with this button we can change the equipped weapon. Bam! Changing to a sidearm costs 1 action point, changing to a heavy weapon costs 3 action points. So, you need to be careful, you don't need to rush, and just pick the weapon that you need and the situation that you are at. Okay, so this is smell. This can increase. Hello, Walkman. This can increase or decrease because of the weather condition. Right now it's raining. We'll be adding, the actual effects of raining very soon, I think, this month. And when it rains, I believe that it decreases the range of the smell. But to be honest, I'm not sure. We didn't add the tooltip, and we have quite a few of these weather conditions. And here is, the wind indicator. It, the wind blows that way, so you can see how the particles travel. This guy is carrying a charm that increases his scent. This is the symbol of the night, so you can see his particles are longer. If these particles would touch the enemy will be alerted. So that's how it works. Okay, so this purple dots will show you that you can hide here, and these guys won't see you while I'm in the bushes. Another useful thing are these lines, I think. You don't have to worry about you don't have to look at the idle animation and just figuring out where they look. but this line will show you, okay, if you stay here, this guy will see you, you know, and there are more enemies there, so there are more lines. So that's how it works. And I think one of the most important things and one of the most interesting things are these yellow dots. So what are these for? Right now our hunters have two movement ranges. These white dots represent the basic movement range, and you can run around within it as long as you have these movement points. Every step, every hex or dot that you travel will decrease this by 1. But we found out that there is not enough options for your hunters to move around, to position themselves in a good tactical way, or they run too far away and they just outrun the enemies. So this is the solution for us. And how this works. So you have your basic movement range. It's, I think, around 10 or 12 dots, right? And you have additional running range with 6, I believe. And every time you run into it, it will take 1 of your stamina points. So you can position yourself in a different way. You can run quite far. Okay, now he spotted me. But at the cost of your stamina. So I think that's fair. I think that's fair. And while we are speaking about stamina, some weapons, basically all of the heavy weapons, now use stamina to use. So we have this greatsword. It's nice because it's attack in an arc, and as you can see, we have a new arc representation here. Also with brazier curves. And when I attack with this, it will take 1 stamina point. So stamina right now is way more important than it used to be. And I like it. And I like it, I'm really glad, because it starts to look like a game. Like a serious game. Not just a prototype. Okay, so let's move up our hunters. And we have this new running animations. You know, your hunters can run to the left or right, down, up, and they have a very quick animation when they actually crouch or stand up. Okay, so let's end this turn. No, thanks, Walkman. Yeah, we are trying very hard, you know, and I think it starts to pay off. I really hope that you will like it, you know, the final version of this. So Griffin was talking about these hexes, why we don't want to show these hexes, why that was such a big deal. We found out by accident that basing everything on hexes will create a lot of long-term problems for us. The one problem was with the vision system, and in this build we completely redo how the vision works. Before this change, everything was based on this hexes. Like, so if guy was like this character was looking this way, you know, he would be choosing, you know, the algorithm would choose the hexes, you know, that he sees. And you know, drawing a line with a hex map is not as easy as you may think. You know, it's easy if you go this way or this way, but if you need to draw a line from this place to this place, you know, it starts to create this jittery line, you know, and this created so many problems that, you know, in the case of this log, it actually showed us this problem. This guy is looking right here, right? You probably would hide here, 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 but not here, because the algorithm is just, you know, doesn't work like that. So what we did, we actually get rid of this part of the code, and the vision is based on raycasts. I don't know, if you are a programmer, you know what it means. If you are not, it basically, this line that's right now is showing, this red line is this raycast. We are using this raycast to show this. The line is drawn from the hunter towards the enemy, and if it will meet a collider on the way, it says, okay, I cannot see. Right? That's it. I don't know why we didn't do this before. If you're making your game, you can laugh right now, because yeah, that was pretty obvious, you know, when we did this. But for whatever reason, we just did this right now. It also made the game much lighter, you know, in case of the performance. So it's just better. Okay, so what are these pebbles, right? These are small stones that you can throw, and it's important that they will catch the enemy in the radius. So if I throw this guy will turn his vision to the point of impact, so where the yellow circle is. So if I throw this, boom, he changes his vision direction, so I can move forward and position myself behind this log. That's a little item that we added. It's very useful. What else? You know, the range combat. I think we showed this before. We are redoing this right now, so stay tuned for an update. Okay, you know, this guy only had 1 stamina, so we fired a shot and knocked himself down. You can do this, yes. So you can do like almost suicide runs with your hunters. Bam, 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 bam. Slash. Okay. This red damage indicator was showing because this enemy is weak to slash damage. If he wouldn't be, this indicator would be white. Okay, we killed all of the enemies. And that's it. So we can play another one of these missions, and I think that will be it. We have a longer conversation with Roof, another very important character. They will always disappear. We are basically sending them back to the master, to the darkness itself. This dying animation was actually the inspiration for this mechanic. When you are killing enemies that are not part of the objective, they will add to this darkness because they are like changing into this black mist. Okay, so maybe change equipment. So this is a loud weapon, and it deals a shot damage. But we can take something different, like this harpoon launcher, and this will deal pierce damage, which may be useful. Okay, this shows that here is an enemy that we cannot see, but hunters have 6th sense, so they can sense him, right? We have some animated terrain objects, like this grass moves a little bit on the wind. We'll be expanding on that. We'll add an animation for the grass when you just walk into this, and you know, it will move. And this weather conditions will also affect you know, how much this grass will move. You know, Griffin, there is a lot of ideas out there, right? But you know, we need to prioritize stuff. Possible to pick up for crafting. There will be chests with loot soon. You know, we'll see. You know, we need to think about, you know, priorities. But I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no. Okay, so who has some traps? This guy has traps. If you highlight the hunter, these white lines will show uh, who this huntress is. We have some flies around the mid table. Okay, so this is a new type of trap. And a hunter just throws a lot of this spiky stuff. I don't know if you noticed, but the objects are actually flying. And we can use a new item that we have here. It is specially crafted for this very reason. This is a lure. And if you use it, you are making the enemy to walk towards you. It's very important that the enemy needs to be unaware of the hunter's presence. If the guy is already searching you, it won't work. So you use this, you cast the spell, and bam, he walks into the trap. So this is, a cheap little trick to get you guys walk into something, and I think I could just crash the game. Yay! A bug on the stream. Yeah, that's great. Well, maybe I didn't. No, I did. Okay, so let me just restart the game, I guess. But I have a save of this very situation, yes. Yeah, QA didn't catch up this bug for whatever reason. We had a QA session and they didn't send us this bug. Which is a shame. In the future, soon future, I want to add sidearms that are pistols, so you have your rifles that will be more powerful, but you can also have a smaller stuff, maybe something like needle guns, so there will be like an equivalent of the harpoon gun. Okay. Okay, so the game didn't want us to use traps and lures, so let's do a backstep. So if you attack an enemy from behind and he's unaware of your position, he will be knocked down. And when he's knocked down, you can do a finisher on him. This button will pop up, and when you click it, the hunter will perform a finisher. This is a very exhausting move for the hunter. It will take 3 stamina out of him, so you need to be careful that nobody else is around you to attack you. The in-between aerial screens move randomly or follow the cursor, couldn't really tell. I'm not sure what you're referring to, to be honest. Sometimes the camera will position itself around something. It follows the target when you are moving, for example, like right now. It will follow the hunter. Oh, another small thing that we added some time ago are these particles. Can you make some hunters heal by performing finishers? No. There are different ways to heal your hunters. Right now we have medkits and we have some spell-like abilities that can be used, and we will be introducing a lot more of these items in the next build. Just today with Alex we designed a shitload of these items. I don't know, something like 30 or more. Items that are damaging the enemies with different damage types, items that buff your hunters, and tools like this pebble that I showed before, this whistle. There will be a lot of this stuff there. Uh, these particles around the hex selection will show you where you have cover and what type of cover. These yellow ones indicate a medium cover, so you need to be in this hex or dot to dot actually contact with them to be invisible to your enemies. And these higher ones indicated by these red particles will screen you from a greater distance. Okay, so let's move up, but not too far to not use some of our stamina. If we run out of stamina, we can use rest ability. It doesn't have animation yet, but it works like that. You activate this in your turn, but you need to wait for the effect till the next turn. So when you're resting, you need to find a safe spot so the enemies won't attack you, because if when they interrupt your resting, it won't take effect. Okay, so the guy spotted us. Okay, so I positioned myself very poorly. Okay, Nicolis has a question on Facebook. I'm in the screens where you were in to talk with NPCs or embark to the world map, and as the graphics moved. Ah, yeah, this parallax effect. Okay, I get it now. It's in the relation to where you have your cursor positioned. Mm. Ah, okay, so I knocked down my hunter. As you can see, he will be knocked down for some time. Okay, so we can kill some of these enemies. So let's kill this one and knock ourselves out by the process. So you can see I'm not playing very carefully right now, and I'm paying right now for that. Okay, so I have a carbine, and a carbine is a loud weapon, and there is one more enemy, but I also have a blade. And the newer build will have a tooltip with the weapons here. So when you highlight this weapon here, we'll have a tooltip just like with the abilities. So you can quickly check what you have equipped there. Okay, let's see if that will be enough to take this guy out. Yeah. Okay, so we are relatively safe. Oh, another bug. Yay. It's good that I have everything recorded, so I can show it to our programmers later, and they can take a look at these bugs. Oh, these vignettes that you've seen was the darkness system in works. The darkness system can strengthen the enemies, summon new enemies, can change enemies into different ones. I probably won't be able to show you everything here because it's randomized. This is one of the few things that are randomized here in this game. Okay, so the path bugged, but whatever. So you can see this guy was knocked down. He lost his next turn, but he's right now back on his feet, and he has all of his stamina points back. Okay, so what can we do here? Let's go here. Okay, we have two more enemies. So let's switch back to the carbine. And I guess just wait this up. Okay, our hunters are back on their feet, so they will... Okay, and she sees me. I forgot that this won't provide cover. uh, yeah, you just need to. Griffin has a question. Is there any way to prevent the players from turtling and just ending turns until the monster can walk into the ambush? Uh, this lure is one of these tools, but right now I don't know if it works properly, so I'm not gonna use this too much. There will be lots and lots of abilities that will can create a combo. I haven't talked about this because I don't really have I think a good item set to show you that, but when someone has a status effect on himself, like right now Maxwell has a bleeding status effect on himself, which will make him lose health every turn until he patches himself up with bandages. This changes your resistances. Mm. So even if I would have a resistance against, for example, slash damage, but then I got this bleeding effect, I'm instantly weak to this. And when you're weak to a damage type, you get double the damage from this damage type. If you are strong against something, it just nullifies the whole damage. But this damage types changes everything. So that will be, I think, the actual ambush, in this game will change from just set up traps and wait for something to happen, and just pick items that can combo with each other, apply status effects, or just pick the weapons that have the the damage that the enemies are weak to, and then bam bam bam, create a good like queue of your actions and take out everybody if you can in one turn. That's one way of doing this. Something like that. Okay, so Griffin has another like a follow-up question. The darkness system will prevent you, from doing that. Right now, I don't think it's set up properly. We are adding additional options to have more options in customizing it. In changing this, because every mission can have a different like darkness profile, and it can grow faster, and when it grows faster it can do more, and when it can do more it can create a situation when you will have to pursue your objective faster, because there will be more and more enemies. That's basically the way how we want to do this. We didn't want to do like a flat like a hard version of that, which would be the turn limit, because personally I don't like it. I don't think it's a good mechanic. We just want to go with something that's more fluid, and even if you struggle, you can still finish the game, and it won't be so hard for you. I think it'll be just more pleasant. Still the same thing, but I think just more elegant. Nicolis has a question: is there a dash mechanic like in XCOM? So if you weren't here, I can show you this again. Right now we have two different movement ranges. The white one works as it worked previously. You have X of your movement points, and each movement points is this dot, and you can run around as much as you can. But you also have these yellow dots right now, and you can run within this range, but it will, every time you run into this, it will take one stamina. There's no limit to that. You can run around as long as you have stamina, and you can knock yourself out in the process. So that's how it works. Okay, so this, we have only one enemy left here, and the other one is very far away, so we can, I think, risk firing a shot with the carbine. Okay, it didn't take him out because carbine is weaker than the rolling block, not we used previously, but it has free ammo, so you don't have to reload this so frequently. But they still have some knives. Blighted knives, leading effect. Okay. And I knock this guy down. Alright, so we don't have to worry about him too much. Oh, okay. So another thing to report to our programmers. Knockdown enemies still report that they are seeing someone, even though they shouldn't. Okay, let's finish this guy out. You know, this is harpoon. It's a silent weapon, so you don't have to worry about the sounds. Okay, and this mission is about checking houses for survivors. It's activate type of mission. There should be a special cursor for that, but it's not working right now. You can just click, you know, bam bam, there's an animation for activation, and bam, we finished another mission. So I think these are the most important stuff that we introduce in this build. These are these resistances and damage types, which changes a lot in the combat itself. New items, you know, will come with time. We added some that will cure the status effect. That is, antidote will cure poison effect. Poison is pretty similar to bleeding. It takes damage with time, but it also will prevent you from healing yourself. So, you know, this is worse than bleeding actually. There will be some stuff like we have this gas grenade, which will deal different type of damage. No, it's actually this will be a sickness type of, so it will add the status effect. So next time we'll be here, there will be more use of this stuff that we already created, because we have more of these items that will put the different status effects, and we can create more combos. So one of these combos is when you have a guy with a firearm, something that deals shot damage, and you put immobilize effect on the enemy. That's a combo, right? It will make him weak to shot damage, and that can create a very devastating damage output. More stuff here, not only blades but also some shooty weapons. And I think, you know, for now I think that's it. You know, there's this new camp again. You can take a look here, assign some different jobs, because why not? Wait a day. When we are traveling, we have this animation, and we have the same one when we'll be waiting a day in a camp. Alex already prepared animations like this, pieces of this illustration, and we'll add like a nice ambient or like very short music effect or whatever, so it will be more immersive. Now, a lot of audio will be added with this new build that we are working right now. Have you guys toyed with the idea to allow the darkness to take over a hunter to make him stronger or make him gain special abilities, but also have drawbacks in the same time, so the players can get an option to make a dark group to play with? Yes, there is a strong idea for this, but that's probably an update. You know, I don't think that this will be in the release. Yeah, embrace the darkness, exactly. There is an idea, you know, for like fallen hunters that are enemies, you know. There are lots of, you know, lots of this small thing that's yeah, maybe DLC. We wouldn't like to do the paid DLC, but we'll see. You know, if we'll have enough material to actually justify, you know, a paid DLC, then yeah, okay, right? But we won't just do the on DLC for the sake of making a DLC and making more money. That's what we can promise for you right now. But yeah, there are ideas, you know, running around with this dark hunters. What else with the city guys? With actually people, not only monsters. There's a lot of stuff. We'll see how much we'll be able to do. Right now we are focusing on the core mechanics of the game, like this battle system, the stealth. How does it work? Like for example, I showed you before this knockdown mechanic, backstab, right? I would like to change this so only the small weapons can do that, because it's kinda strange that you take a two-handed greatsword or a two-handed axe and do a backstab with it. When people will have a chance to try closed alpha? Pretty soon. Pretty soon. We'll tell you the details, but we have a plan for that, but I cannot tell you about this. that's the deal basically. But we are getting there. We are getting there. That's for sure. That's PR stuff. That's PR stuff. Everything needs to be planned. And when I tell you too much, I'll be scolded by Diana from marketing, and later even more by my publisher. So we don't want that. Yeah, Shocker, that's Diana. That's Diana. Shocker Games, that's Diana. Sitting here and lurking at what we are doing. Okay, so I think that's all from the presentation. We'll be doing this at least monthly, I think. But there is one last thing that I want to tell at the end of this stream. You probably noticed the kickoff labs news, and if you like what we are showing, if you like what we are working on here, and you would like to be more informed and have more input on how this game will shape in the future, please join our Hunters League. The higher you up on the leaderboard, the more influence you have, for this game. You will gain ranks on Discord, and we'll be doing closed streams, closed QAs, suggestions, polls, things like that, and how you can climb this leaderboard, basically by spreading the word. If you share the Kickoff Labs link that you get, your referral link, and you get more people joining the community, then you start on Kickoff Labs, you get higher, you get more points in the leaderboards, and you will be closer to us. Yeah, so that's how it works, and I would be very, very grateful if you could use that, because that's very important for us, for the future of this project, if it will sell good or bad. And let's be honest, the future updates will be linked to that, how it will be selling. Okay, so I think that's all from me. Let's just take a last look at this new stuff. Click here and there. Yeah, thanks Zaorish. And that's it. See you on the next one. Wait for the devlogs with cut content from this one if you want to go back to something that I was talking about today and you missed this. And that's it. Max out. See ya.